Hi, my name is Marie, and my son is Bostin Loyd, the most controversial bodybuilder there is right now because of his steroid use. But he's also a very popular and hardworking, and he's done very well for himself at 23 years old. He's written 3 books. He has his own clothing line. He has his own supplement line. And he has a few contests coming, and he does very well. And he's an amazing kid with an amazing background. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my son, because a lot of people ask me, what was Bostin like? Well, when he was younger, I had a very hard delivery, and he had a 25% chance to live because he drank the amniotic fluid. He was in an incubator for 10 days, but he lived through it. He was a fighter. And then they said that there would be problems, and then there was problems. He was diagnosed with ADHD. He had oppositional defiant, and he had some learning disabilities. So at 6 months, I knew there was going to be a problem. But I knew this kid had something in him. Being a mom, and also I was a teacher, a high school teacher, I realized that the best thing for this kid was exercise. So I put him in everything. He was in ballet. He was in gymnastics, which he did very well. He was at karate at 3. He was in every activity I could stick him in, and it helped. He was calmer and could focus. Now, owning the gym, his dad and I owned Gold's Gym. He would see his mother helping other people pose. And when he saw that I was helping them, he started posing. Then I started competing. And then one day, they put him up on stage with me, and he took up the whole show. So there started his career, probably at the age of 4 or 5, that he got up on stage and started posing. Well, he posed so well, he was the best poser out there among everybody. So then he started raising money for kids with cancer, and he did very well at that. Then he raised money for the Special Olympics. There was a bodybuilding contest that he sponsored through the money that he raised when he posed on stage. Well, I run my business out of here, and I call my business Fossil Fitness. And I would have the ladies here, and they would ask me, could I bring my child here? And I said, sure. And then I would ask my son, and my son was only 12 at the time. I said, can you babysit these kids? He said, yeah. And after a while, at the age of, I would say 11, 10, he was babysitting and making good money. I'd have my clients here, and they'd bring their younger kids, and next thing I know, Bostin has these kids doing push-ups and sit-ups, and he was making money. So that money that he got from my clients, he put in his pocket, and he realized the value of $1 at a young age. Now, later on, when he was 13, 14, I had parents that wanted their kids to be trained. And of course, Bostin's been doing this ever since he was young. So I said, okay, Bostin, do you want to make some money helping me out? And he said, yeah. So you're saying now at the age of 13, this kid's making $20 an hour training people. Then when he became 16, he was actually working with adults and special needs adults and training them and making $40 an hour at the age of 16. And he was self-motivated because the money that he made, he stuck in his pocket. When he was in trouble, and he would get in trouble at school for hitting people or getting in fights, I took him to the gym. And sometimes he would fight me, and then I'd bring his friends in. So then it was great. Then he had his friends with him. And then after a while, it was getting a little hard on me, so I went to the gym and I said, look, I want the biggest, baddest trainer there is to handle my son. And that worked out good. Somebody that could work with him. It was a popular boxer. So if you're having problems with your kids, this is the way to go. Exercise. And being with other kids that were positive, being around positive role models. As my son talked about, when he was 5, 6, 7, it was great. He used to get up on stage and bodybuild. Then his mom and dad got a divorce, and that was really hard on him. He got a little fat and was eating crap and not feeling good about himself. When people think that divorce is fine and it brings two families together, it isn't. It's like grabbing a pitcher and then slamming it down. Because my son went through living hell going through that divorce. Fighting one to the other, seeing his mother go through a physical abusive relationship. Not too many people know this, that my son was my caretaker. When his stepdad, who was good to him, but not good to me, he would witness him hitting me, and he thought nothing of getting in between us and stopping the fight. He was fearless. He would do anything to prevent it. So even though his childhood was not that great, he had a hard start. He's having a fabulous finish. My son has always been the type of kid who always had a plan B. Even as a young child, he loved animals. He had a pet squirrel, he had cats, he had dogs, he had a love for animals. And he had a love for taking care of his friends. When his friends were in need, we'd have kids over here. We had a child from LA that stayed here for a year and was like Boston's best friend. Kids that came in and out of here that had problems with their families winded up in Boston's care. And he showed great compassion at a young age of helping his friends. This house was full of love with kids. He was the type of kid, he was extremely bright. In fact, the teachers would call me up and they would scold me saying, "Why are you helping you with your son's homework?" I said, "I don't help my son with his homework. I don't even see his homework." They go, "Well, this is like college work." I go, "Well, he did it himself." So at a young age, he was very bright. That's why he did not go to college, but he is very smart. Like I said, there was always a plan B. I remember one time when he was younger, and I told him he couldn't ride his scooter, and I locked it up. Well, and I said, "I'll be back in about an hour. I have to go do some errands." Well, he kept calling me to find out where I was. And then when I finally got home, he didn't want to ride the scooter. I go, "Okay." So then his friend tells me, he goes, "I got to tell you something." I go, "What?" He says, "Well, Boston got the electric screwdriver and undid the hinges, opened it up, and we were playing with the scooter. The only reason why we were calling you was to find out where you were and when you were coming home to put the scooter back in and to screw back the hinges." I go, "Oh, okay." Now, Boston right now, I got some pictures over here of him. He's going to go into the South Carolina Open, and he's going to do some extraordinary things in the future in bodybuilding. He has 2 bodybuilding shows in Orlando, which I feel he'll do very well. Now again, this kid, he was self-motivated. I never had to tell him to eat. I never had to tell him to do his homework. And if he slid, he got it. I mean, you know, this Dr. Spock stuff about, oh, don't spank your kid. Well, that didn't go with me. He got his hair pulled or whatever, and I kept him in line because I wanted the kid to be successful. So training this kid was at ground zero. You're talking when he was in kindergarten. I had to train him to be successful in life. And how I did that was, I was strict. I gave him a lot of chores and he had to do things. But he had this strong will. And I knew somewhere down the line that this kid was going to be famous or have a lot of money. I just knew it inside. He's a special kid. And Bostin, I hope the best for your contest because your mother is your biggest fan. And I love you so much.